welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre the Beast Crayton Show. Today, we're going to take an emotional tour overseas. We're going to go to Moscow, Russia, the USSR, and listen to a beautiful story of healing and how this individual has basically brought her message to the U.S. and agreed to share it on the iambeast show today. It's 8 p.m. in Moscow. It's 1:30 p.m. here in the United States, and matter of fact, Indianapolis, Indiana. I'd like to welcome to the show. Let me see if I can get the name right, because it's Russian. And Vedi. Vedi. Did I get it right, Ann?
Yes, you're right. Thank you very much for the invitation and hello everyone. I'm really happy to be here to talk about my music and my pathways in music and my background.
So, Ann, tell me a little bit about yourself before we get into your culture and your music genre. Who exactly is Ann?
Well, I am a human at first, and second and third, I'm doing my music because I think this is the way I should live. Well, then, the, if we go back then to uh, 90s,
Okay.
when I asked my parents to buy me a violin, I was just 3 years old, and they are not musicians. They are engineers and architecture. My mother architect. Uh, they didn't notice my requests at first time, but at fourth, I started to. I was a student at the local school, a preschool. I studied violin and singing. Uh, well, it was obviously that I had some luck or talent, whatever you call this.
Hmm.
So my parents decided to help me with my professional pathway in music. And then I entered to the Central Musical School at the Conservatory. It was a special school for talented young musicians, where the professors and teachers from the conservatory uh, could help young musicians to grow up. So then I was at the conservatory already as a violinist and composer. I learned composition too, professional way. And then after the conservatory, I started to make my own music as Vedi. Yeah, I remember it was my first album and first single. I was really excited because I started to play electric violin. I bought an electric guitar. It was a completely new way. Besides, I already had a strong classical background,
Hmm.
and I think it was very exciting. It's still very exciting because I'm continuing my way in the classical
Right.
line first, and already as a conductor too. But I keep going with my songwriting things as a singer songwriter. It's a completely different story.
Okay.
But I think I can do in both. Why? Because I think it's a huge cultural background that classical music has. It's about what we had, you know, 3 centuries ago, 4 centuries ago, 100 years ago. It's about how our humanity been developed, and it's where from I take my inspiration for songwriting.
Speaking of
It's
humanity,
it's look complicated, but It's the way it is.
Speaking of humanity, music does have a way to heal the savage heart, so to speak. Your parents are from Russia, Moscow, and the Ukraine. Here in the United States, we hear the impact in the stories of war. This must really, how does this affect you being so close to um, understanding both situations? Like, how does that affect you in the creation of your music, knowing that there's always a constant uh, uh, conflict, or should we say proxy conflicts, where small nations are forced by big nations to fight
Mhm.
amongst each other for resources and God knows what else.
Well, it's exactly, it's a complicated question. It's difficult to reply, especially in short. Uh, but what can I say? First of all, I've been always out of politics at first, and second, why do I actually this time I'm writing in English because I had a thought some years ago, several years ago, because I think if I can bring my mentality, my culture to a lot of people, that should be uh, exactly English language because it's international language, and I learned how to sing in English, how to correctly speak in English, to sound it like familiar to most of the people, English speaking people. What about exactly this situation is happening right now? Well, I had a tour in Ukraine more than 10 years ago. I had concerts, my concerts with the local musicians there. And I always love to talk about composers, what I'm performing as a violinist on the concerts, the pathways, about the works I perform. Uh, and I talk in Russian because I know. So we're all from the USSR. My parents, their friends, their colleagues. But I was really surprised that the audience didn't appreciate this aspect. I was confused. And it was really weird for me.
What made you confused,
I
and what made you confused?
Because I got some feedback that they were surprised I didn't speak Ukrainian. I know Ukrainian actually, but they understand Russian, right? And it was confused for me, but I don't know what really happens in mind of some people. I I really hope everything will be fixed as soon as possible. So this is my answer, I guess. I'm keep going with my songwriting in English because this is for everyone on the planet. But this is the situation. I think it will be fixed soon.
How difficult is
Yeah,
it? How difficult is
yeah.
it for you to? How difficult is it for you to get your message across where you are now living? Because you mentioned that they were surprised that you didn't take your music and speak it in Russian, or you didn't speak it in um, Ukrainian language, American. How difficult is it for you getting your message across globally?
Well, it's less difficult now because I'm the third year as the Recording Academy, this Grammys member, and I'm doing a lot of joint projects with Grammy people. There's mostly the US story, but there are a lot of people from around the world, like just Ozikoi from Africa, like Nevdira Japan from Iran. We are doing not. you know, like third or fourth project in a row together.
Mm,
And actually, recently we did a great album. It called Mama Baba and Me. You can find it on every music platform.
mm.
Uh, and I'm releasing my songs independently, thanks to all the platforms that allow this. And I'm communicating with English audience too. That's why I why and how I send my message overseas.
How difficult is it for you? Um, how difficult is the music industry in Moscow? Like, is do they do they accept music on a higher plateau in Russia, um, versus, like, it's really big here in the United States. I mean, there's tons of musical artists here in the United States. How much of a population flood is it in uh, Russia and Moscow in the music industry for you?
Well, here I do mostly jazz music because I'm familiar with some, some famous musicians here, and sometimes I play with them. That's about just pop, jazz music as a violinist. But mostly I'm doing my classical music jobs as a violinist, as a conductor. Well, recently I had a small tour in Azerbaijan. It's a close country to us, and I even sung there in Baku Philharmonic. You can find this recording on my website and on my YouTube channel. I sang in Azerbaijani and in
Mm,
Russian, two songs. And I played Russian and Azerbaijani music and also European composers' music.
mm.
Uh, well, mostly about some, pop fusion here, pop musicians. Well, it's difficult because as a professional musicians, I see where is a real professional, where is a real message to you know some audience, some specific audience,
Mm.
or it's just a commercial production and it's cost nothing and globally.
Who are some of the
Well,
artists?
it's difficult.
Who are some of the artists that who are some of the famous artists that you've worked with in Moscow? And are there any artists in here in the United States that you want to collaborate with?
Yes, yes. In Moscow, I mentioned jazz. It was Igor Budman and his team. Oleka Khoratov. He's a pianist and singer. He was winner of Sarah Vaughan jazz vocal competition in the US, and actually he studied in the US because he is a blind pianist from his birth, and it was a special school in the US where he studied. And we sometimes we do common concerts, joint concerts. Well, in the US, I collaborate, at a distance. We're doing line. I mentioned already Justo Zikoya. He's in Africa and both in the New York. I do collaborate with people from South America. It's Antonio Vergara, his name. We did a few albums, and actually, I'm looking for a new collaboration
Mm.
with him. I already recorded a track for his album, of his new album, and we are going to get a nomination for Grammys.
Wow. Okay.
I hope.
Okay. So the next question is, we play your music on I Am Beast Radio, and it's different. I sense a lot of emotional healing in your music. I sense a lot of spiritual awareness or enlightenment in your music. Um, tell me a little bit about what your music is really about for the audience that listens to it but can't quite grasp the meaning of it. I did when I heard it, and thank you for sending it to us. I love it, but there's a lot of emotion in each one of these songs that have been written and produced by you. Tell me a little bit about how that comes about and what's the purpose of it.
Well, when I started to write songs in a contemporary way, I did a lot of songs like vocalizes, romances, like in 19th century. But when I started to make those contemporary thing, uh, I knew that I should do a really different thing. As aside of pop music, I love pop. But aside of rock music, I love rock too.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and actually, aside of like storytelling, whereas Adele, for example, grew up from, uh, it's a about kind of mix of genres. That's why I have some difficulties sometimes to put my song to a specific genre when I release it. But mostly is about um, how to overcome some difficulties in life, how to stay strong, stay mentally healthy because of a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, a lot of situations in the world, and do do things that you think you are doing right. Because if you think you're doing something wrong, it hurts inside.
Mm.
Yeah. Actually, I do have a song that called Music Health. I wrote it 3 years ago
Okay.
when I had my first COVID. Oh my god! Yeah, it was like healing not just mentally but physically too.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, the song of 2022, "My Sweet Lord," it looks like some religious message to God, to the universe. Actually, it was an act of kindness and thankfulness because this time I had another COVID and I actually lost my voice for the first time in my life. And I didn't know, can I overcome this? Can I go through this? Can doctors do their magic? I just prayed or something like this.
Did you
And
say
when I
didn't mean to
yeah
cut you
when
off,
I
Ann?
when,
But did you say you lost your boys? Did I hear you correctly?
yeah
You lost your
yeah yeah
sons?
yeah but, yeah, it was like another version of COVID that affected vocal cords, and it was for a lot of people. I found it, and it was for me too. What? But it disappeared. I get my voice back, and I wrote this song.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually on my YouTube channel too. And as you asked me about the healing, this is two aspects, and physically healing, that's how I thankful to everyone who helped me with this, and it's mental aspect too.
How long was the journey to get your boys back? How long did getting them back put a freeze on your career because you had to deal with the legal aspect of getting them back? How long was that process?
Well, it was about 2 months because this year in summer I had a COVID, very very difficult COVID, and then I lost my voice. And the song I released in already in November, so I recorded it in October.
Mm.
So very shortly, but for me very impactful. I repeat myself. I lost my voice for the first time in my life. Never did this,
How did you lose your
and I
voice,
had,
Anne? Anne, how did you lose your voice?
well, I actually I wasn't able to speak and sing
I mean,
as
did
as
did
uh,
you catch the flu?
as
Did you
usual.
have COVID? What was
Yeah,
the medical
yeah, yeah,
complications?
yeah,
It was COVID.
yeah,
Wow, I never heard of that. So you wind up contracting COVID, and in the process, you
yeah,
lost your voice.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
And how long was that journey of recovery for you?
Well, full recovery was about 6 months plus minus one. But I was able to record the song already in October
Mm.
2022.
What is your favorite song? You got some pretty interesting work out there in the music with your music. But what's two of your favorite composers? I mean, what are your two favorite songs that you composed?
Well, mine, well, it's complicated, very, very complicated because it's like a child. Every song, every album, every orchestral work is like a child that you're was born out of you.
Mm-hmm.
And it grew up fixing some things, editing, mastering, and I don't know. Actually, every song I work on is my favorite because all my thoughts on my, oh my god, I even don't sleep several nights if it needs to be like this
Mm-hmm.
to finish the song or to finish the orchestral piece work. Mm, I think it is.
What is the difference? I know you guys watch us in the United States, where you're at. What's the difference in your eyes with the music journey in the United States versus the music journey in Russia and um, the foreign countries where you're at? What's the difference in your eyes?
Well, I guess every musician's path is a different story. Aside of where he or she's from and where he or she lives right now. I think my story is very unique because, first of all, not every musicians keep their activity in both, like popular
Mm-hmm.
music and classical music at first, and at second, not every musicians from our countries are making music for the English audience. Uh, this is the second, and the third. I think I don't know. Well, if there is no opportunities for musicians, then we create it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I actually I found some opportunities when I started my songwriting. I met a lot of people on the internet by our common interests, and we already did projects.
Mm-hmm.
And how I became the Grammy Academy member too.
Mm-hmm.
It's about how to find opportunities
How does your
aside of everything.
how does your family and your friends feel about your music? Because, like I said, it is different. It's very unique. what are some of the what are some of the replies and stuff that you're getting in your country about your music?
Well, they're very excited about this. From every step of my way from childhood, my family supported me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But when it came to songwriting, it was a little bit different because they were afraid of I will stop doing my classical music activities.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a hard worker.
Okay.
I can do this. I can cope with this. And they finally appreciate it.
Now,
And
do you like classical music over your creative music?
as I mentioned, I'm getting uh, inspiration from this. It's specific ways to think as a composer, as a songwriter, specifically dramaturgically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because every song it's a like short film, like it's like a short opera, and I had an album 6 years ago. It called Soul Opera. Despite its 10 pop songs,
Right.
it was like a short opera journey, and you will hear there is a lot of you know salute to Beethoven or Bach or Wagner.
Right. So
Despite it's popular or
so
sometimes rock, sometimes singer-songwriter music. Yeah.
what do what do you want to see change in the music industry? Both what you hear and see in our country and what you see in your country. What do you want to see change?
Well, I think it's commonly that people you know seek to entertainment. I appreciate entertainment a lot because it's something aside of business, work, hard work, and just people want to relax or something. But I know this art of music is creates specific atmosphere to think about more than just entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
It's about philosophic ways. It's about philosophy. The people should think more about the soul than the body.
Mm. Before we wrap up, let me first say thank you for staying up late to come on the show and share your story. What is your end game? And what's your end game? What's your purpose, should I say? What's your purpose for all this?
Well, my purpose is um, well, I mentioned this today in details, but overall thing is I think I have some mission, and it's about, as you mentioned, to heal the souls, to heal human minds, to help them with overcoming of stress, of difficult situations. Well, now, when I had a concert at 9 years old, mm, everybody said, yeah, and listen, there's a lot of people when you played, I cried. They cried because they, their cry was coming from soul. I think it's a good way.
Mm. How can the people reach out to you to listen to your music, to have you come and speak on their platforms? How can the viewers reach out to you?
Yeah, sure. My music is on YouTube, on iTunes, on Spotify, and I'm on social media too. I have my website. Then everyone can connect with me. Can follow me. So my colleagues can request anything about collaboration with me because as you mentioned, I'm violinist, vocalist, and composer, and arranger, and conductor. I'm doing all the things, and I'm doing madly everything professionally.
Now, what's your website? Because you didn't give us your website. What's your website called numbers?
Yeah, yeah, it's just nvedi.org. ORG.
Okay. Thank you so much for taking time out to be on the show. Wish you the best moving forward. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another exciting episode of the Andre the Beast Crayton Show.